Hey you guys, this is going to be the third part to the three-part series that I've been doing for the month of May for mental health awareness. And I decided to end the month talking about cyberbullying. This is a huge pain point for your children. So when I speak at schools, whether it's a really large auditorium full of kids, if it is in a small private group, or if it's even one-on-one coaching, when I ask kids what they feel like is the biggest issue they are facing on social media, it is cyberbullying. This is their biggest pain point. And so I think as parents, as clinicians, as teachers, anyone that is in a child's life, we must recognize that they are going through this, and then how do we support them around it? When we're taking a look at mental health, this is one of the biggest things I believe that is weighing on our children in the social media space. And one of the reasons I believe that is because that's what they're telling us. They're telling us when we ask them, what's your biggest issue? So what I want to do for the next couple of minutes is talk to you about what to look for, and then how to have these conversations with your kid. I think we must start with, and this is one of the things that I do when I'm at schools and I'm teaching your kids what to do if they've been cyberbullied. This is a part of every single program that I provide, starting in kindergarten all the way through high school. They get taught these same principles. So the first thing that I would like for you to teach your kid if they are being bullied, cyberbullied, is no matter what platform they are on, wherever that person or kid is reaching out to them, they need to send to the person that is doing the bullying the word stop, and then get off the platform. So what this does is it tells the person that is doing the bullying, I'm done. I don't want to be a part of this process. I don't want to be bullied. I want you to stop. What happens many times is a child may tell another child or teenager to stop. That kid doesn't stop. This kid continues to be triggered, that's being bullied, which we understand, and they feel the need to defend themselves, and so it starts to go back and forth. This is what we don't want to happen, because it becomes sort of an ongoing argument at that point, and there's a lot of issues that kind of get surrounded in that. So what we want to do is teach our kids to tell the person that is doing the bully to stop. Just send the word stop, and then get off of that platform and then go seek help from adult. So what this looks like is they may go talk to a counselor, they may come talk to you as a parent, but they need to find a trusted adult in their life to be able to say, this is what I'm facing, this is what is going on, and be able to explain to them sort of how long it's been going on, what platform it's on, that kind of thing. But they need to go seek a trusted adult. Now, if your child comes to you and they have been bullied for a really long time, like say maybe this is not a sort of one-time or two-time incident, like we are looking at some long-term type of situation that's been going on, they may very well need sort of some external help, if you will, past sort of parent or guardian assistance. They might actually need some counseling and some support in this area. Very important to talk to your kid and see if you can figure out how long it's been going on, of course, where it's been going on, and what that looks like, and trying to decide if they do in fact need to seek some support from a counselor to navigate. Because what we are understanding and what we do see is it's devastating, or it can be devastating for our kids to sit in a space of being bullied and being afraid to tell anyone, and sitting in that for a very long time. It has drastic consequences. We've seen those, and we do know what it does when it comes to mental health and the issues surrounding that. So we want to make sure if they need support, outside support, that they are getting that. The last thing here is important, because for kids, they don't want to be considered a snitch. They don't want to tell anybody, right? They don't want to tell a teacher that someone's bullying them. Maybe they're embarrassed, or they don't want to quote unquote snitch on someone that they may even feel like is their friend. Someone that's being mean and bullying them but has been their friend in the past, and maybe they want them to be their friend again because they want to fit in for various reasons. It's so important that we teach our kids, and you have probably heard this: if you see something, say something. I don't know if that's been overused a little bit, but it is so accurate, if you will, and works really well, especially if kids know that they can do it anonymously. So if kids understand that they have a phone number they can call, if they have a teacher or an adult, a counselor, a parent, someone they can go talk to, that their trust will not be broken when it comes to anonymity of reporting, meaning they can come tell you, hey, my friend is going through this and I want to talk to you about it, or they can come tell someone they're personally going through this, and be able to discuss that, but they do not want their name released or the details released. This is huge, you guys, and so important in order to be able to support our kids, that they understand they have a safe space to go to be able to talk to someone, and that safe space is not going to be broken later. Very important. So what can we do as adults? So that's what we can kind of teach our kids to do, but what can we do as adults? And so one of the things that we can do is to, as we know, this is really important, as parents, is to check their devices. So you're picking up your kid's device, you're taking a look at messages, taking a look at comments that are coming in. We understand how to do a random device check. If you need help with that, I can teach you exactly how to do that with your child's phone, where to look, how to look. But we want to make sure that we know where to look on the phone, and that we are taking a look at those messages, we're taking a look at their apps, at their social media, and if we are seeing things that are red flags, whether it is language, whether it is sort of ongoing issues maybe between them and someone else, we just want to pay close attention to the interaction that they are having with other kids. And it may not just be sort of how is another kid treating your kid. We also want to be really careful, and this is hard to hear, how is our child treating other kids? We don't want to believe that our kid would ever be mean to someone else, and many times they're not, but the reality is they are also kids, and they are teenagers, and they tend to do dumb stuff and can get caught up in some things, and maybe they don't really mean what they're saying. Maybe they're kind of caught up in a group. These are not excuses for their behavior, but it helps us to understand sort of the why behind their behavior and where we need to meet them so we can correct the behavior and make sure it doesn't happen going forward. So we're checking the devices, and then if you see something, we're having an open conversation around that. Not a confrontation, because that's going to shut your child off. You're going to have an open conversation around what you're seeing. Why are you speaking this way? What is the issue here? Help me to understand. How are you feeling? We're asking open-ended questions, and we're having an open conversation. The other thing that I think is really important that sometimes we don't think about is discussing with your kids who's on their team. Meaning, what does a true friend look like, and who's a part of your team? I have had so many kids that I've talked to that have been in coaching with me, that I've just spoken with at school, that have allowed, quote unquote allowed, let's not use allowed, that have been the one that was bullied, if you will, and it has continued to happen because the person that is being bullied was afraid to say anything or step out of the situation because they wanted to be a part of the group that the bully is a part of, the friend group. Does that make sense? I think I kind of just muddled that. Meaning, maybe your child was friends with a bunch of friends, and maybe there's somebody in that group that is now being mean to your kid, or maybe the entire group is being mean to your child. Maybe that's been going on for a while. Kids so desperately want to fit in that many times the bullying will continue because they're afraid to say something, because they are afraid that that relationship will be fractured to the point that they cannot re-enter that group, and that they will kind of be kicked out of all the cool kids. They will kind of be kicked out of, for whatever reason, the part of the group they want to be a part of. So the behavior continues because they don't want to report it, because they really want to fit in. Remember, fitting in and being seen is so incredibly important for our kids, especially starting in middle school. This becomes central to a lot of what they are navigating and what they are dealing with. So discuss with them who's on their team and why they were on their team, and if that person is being mean to your child, what that really looks like and how that feels, and do they really want them to continue to be a part of their friend group or a part of the team? So having the open conversations around that are really important. I think, another important point is discussing with your kids language. And what do I mean by language? If it will hurt your child, it will hurt someone else. So discussing with your kids around language that is hurtful. So when we say things that are mean or hurtful to one another, ask your child if they see something, or if they say something, how does that feel to you if it was said to you? And if it would hurt you, then it's going to probably hurt someone else. So we want to make sure that we can continue to have conversations with our kids around language and appropriate language, and how we are talking to our friends, and what feels good and what just doesn't feel good. And I think the very last thing to kind of take a look at is vulnerability. And I know you're probably thinking, well, that's just kind of bananas, because who wants to be vulnerable in this situation? It's just going to be more bullying. What I mean by this is, can we as parents show our children vulnerability from us? Meaning, is there a point in your life that you were ever bullied, or someone made you feel bad, or that you have seen it online or experienced it online? You don't have to meet your kid toe for toe as far as completely having the same sort of situation, because their lives and their situations are vastly different than ours, because remember that generation gap situation. But having hurt feelings is hurt feelings, and having someone be mean to you is someone being mean to you. So in saying to your child, I've had this happen to me, this is how I navigated it, and it's really hurtful, and I know that's hurtful because something similar has happened to me, let me tell you. What this does is open up communication between you and your kid, because they see you as someone, not just as mom and dad that kind of know everything and think they know what they're talking about, but someone that's been through it, and someone that understands what it feels like to be hurt. And so showing that vulnerability helps your kids to feel like they are safe, to be able to share the things that have been happening with them. Okay, we're almost at 15 minutes. I try to keep these below 15 minutes. These are just a few of the things that you can do with your child and that you can teach your child when it comes to cyberbullying. If you need help in this space, if you need coaching support in this space, if you just want to know how to start the conversation with your kid or how to do those checks, let me know. I am always here to support you. But I think the biggest takeaway here is it's happening to our kids. This is their biggest pain point, and we must continue to have open conversations around it. Devices are not going anywhere. There continues to be a screen. There will always continue to be a screen between your kid and their friends, and so we need to help them understand how to use it in a positive manner where we're not hurting one another. All right, you guys, that's it. That was the third part of a 3-part series. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, and if you need any help, I'm here.